So in this video I'm going to be analysing how good Aurelien Tchouameni actually is. Before I look at 3 alternatives that Liverpool could sign, with it now looking like Tchouameni will go to Real Madrid. But before I go any further, if you need a place where you can keep up to date with the latest transfer news, find all the match stats you need from games across the globe, and watch highlights and stream live football matches, then you need to download the OneFootball app. I use the OneFootball app because it's completely free, and not only do they have stats and transfer news, but they also have videos to watch and articles to read, which is where I get a lot of my ideas for new videos. And as I said before, you can stream live football matches and watch highlights all on the app. Downloading the OneFootball app will help support the channel as well, so I'll leave it linked in the description below. So it looks like Real Madrid are edging closer to completing a deal to sign Monaco's Aurelien Tchouameni. Now it was reported that Liverpool were also strong contenders for the Frenchman's signature, but it appears that he favours a move to Real Madrid, with Fabrizio Romano reporting that the transfer fee will be more than the initial 50 million euros that was reported over the last few months, with the fee potentially being more around 70 to 80 million euros plus bonuses, which likely means that it will be at least in the region of 70 million euros, which is around 60 million pounds, as the initial transfer fee with potential payments on top. So how good is Aurelien Tchouameni actually? In one word, very. I describe him as primarily a ball-winning midfielder, but he is much more than that. He seems to have a natural tendency to always be in the right area, to move across and put in a firm standing or sliding tackle. He's got the athleticism and physicality needed to race across the field to put in a tackle, which is incredibly important when it comes to breaking up and stopping attacks. In Ligue 1 this season, he's completed 2.5 tackles per 90 with a tackle success rate of 75%. Compare that to Ligue 1's other top ball winners like Idrissa Gana Gueye, who records 69%, and Boubacar Kamara, who also records 75%, and you can see why Tchouameni is rated so highly. But his reading of the game is just as good, if not more impressive, as in Ligue 1 this season he's completed the most interceptions of any central midfielder with 3 per 90, and this is down to him having excellent positional awareness and being constantly aware of players moving in behind him. But it's not just his ball winning abilities that are so appealing to Real Madrid. When he wins the ball back, rather than simply looking to play a simple sideways or backwards pass to retain possession, Tchouameni is always looking on the attack, whether this is a direct forward pass to a player close by or driving forward with the ball at his feet. And we can see this as his FB ref report shows that he ranks in the 87th percentile for progressive passes, the 74th for progressive carries, and the 70th for dribbles, and combine this with his tackles being in the 82nd percentile and ranking in the 99th percentile for interceptions, and you can see that Tchouameni is not just a phenomenal ball winner, but also a player that can move the ball forward, and this is exactly what you'd expect from a modern day central midfielder. In the final third he isn't the most creative, though he can still switch play with long passes or putting curling central crosses into the box, but he has got a fantastic shot on him at times as well. He is very press resistant, able to use his close ball control to swivel out of pressure in tight areas, and this is why I do understand why he's compared to Paul Pogba in terms of what he's able to do with the ball at his feet. However, I don't think he has Pogba's passing range or chance creating ability, but he's definitely a superior ball winner to Pogba, and to me at least he seems like a carefully curated mix between both N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba, being an exceptional ball winner and ball progressor at the same time. Now, even though a fee of around £60 million is higher than previously rumoured, I still think he's definitely worth it, as at 22 years old he's without doubt one of the best central midfielders in world football, let alone one of the best young central midfielders in world football, and I think he could walk into pretty much any team in the world, barring maybe Manchester City because they only use one defensive midfielder, playing as more of a regista in Rodri. But Tchouameni to me is top level and will show that at Real Madrid. A midfield of Camavinga and Tchouameni is frightening. Camavinga is the more creative of the two, being more of a deeper line playmaker, with Tchouameni the ball winner. However, both are dynamic and capable of driving the ball forward, and as a duo you pretty much have everything you'd want in a midfield too. Plus Camavinga is just 19 years old, meaning that the two are nowhere near their peak ages and could dominate European football for the next decade at least. But what about Liverpool? Who are some Tchouameni alternatives that they should consider? Well, Liverpool need a ball winner who's also a good ball progressor, and I'll go through some options and then rank them 1 to 3. So Kadeo Kone of Borussia Mönchengladbach is a player who I'd say is the closest to Tchouameni in terms of style. He's primarily a ball winner but also a fantastic ball carrier, able to drive through midfield. His FB ref report looks absolutely insane, as he ranks in the 70th percentiles for progressive passes and carries, as well as pressures and tackles, while sitting in the high 90s for dribbles and interceptions. He's not as good in terms of his forward passing as Tchouameni, but I'd still say he's a very good option for Liverpool, and he's only just turned 21 years old and would probably cost around £35 million, which is great value for money in my opinion. Konrad Laimer is another who excels when it comes to winning the ball back, but unlike Kone and Tchouaméni, he does so more of his tackles and his pressures rather than his interceptions. He's also better in the final third than those two, and just by looking at his FBref report you can see how outstanding he is, ranking in the high 80s and 90s for nearly all ball progression metrics and creative and goal scoring metrics as well. So Laimer is pretty much the complete dynamic midfielder, capable of playing the box-to-box midfielder role, with Thiago being more of the deeper line playmaker. The Austrian has just 1 year left on his Leipzig contract, so would probably be available for between 25 and 30 million pounds, a pretty good deal for the soon to be 25-year-old. Another Tchouaméni alternative for Liverpool could be Ismael Bennacer, who has come into his own at AC Milan this year. Like the others, Bennacer is a fantastic ball winner, but he is smaller than the others, resembling more of a pit bull, using his aggressive nature to put a foot in to win the ball back. But he can also progress the ball through his forward passes and dribbles, and is very press resistant under pressure, so pretty much the full package. His FBref report is probably the best of the three alternative options, ranking in the high 80s and low 90s for pressures, tackles, interceptions, progressive passes and carries, and ranking in the 99th percentile for dribbles, showing how good he is at progressing the ball through the centre of the pitch. He'd probably be the most expensive of the three alternatives, currently having a release clause in his Milan contract in the region of £40 million, but he is just 24 years old, and so I'd say it's a pretty good fee to pay all things considering. So who should Liverpool target now that it looks like Tchouaméni is going to be headed to Madrid? Well, in third place I'd go with Kone, as I think whilst he'd still be an excellent signing, both Bennacer and Laimer offer more in possession and are better progressive passers, which does add a bit more to Liverpool's midfield, especially when they come up against deeper defensive units. But out of Laimer and Bennacer, I'd go for Konrad Laimer just because I think he offers more in the final third, and if you look at how that Liverpool midfield will likely be set up, it's going to have Fabinho as the ball winner, playing in that deeper anchor man role, with Thiago next to him as a deep line playmaker as the primary ball progressor from midfield. And so I think Liverpool need a player who can push up between the lines and offer a creative threat in the final third, whilst also providing the ball progression that's needed through the centre of the pitch and being a very good ball winner as well. And I think Laimer fulfills all of these. Ismael Bennacer is more of a deeper line playmaker who would probably be better playing the role that Thiago plays, but I still think he'd be a good option if Laimer wasn't available. But in terms of a Tchouaméni alternative, I'm going for Konrad Laimer. He'd cost around £25 million. He's one of the best pressing central midfielders in all of Europe, so would definitely suit Klopp's pressing style, and he's still only going to be 25 by the start of next season, so fits the age profile that Liverpool usually target. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, as I will be releasing a lot more content over the summer, looking at the transfers that Manchester United are pursuing, as well as players linked with other clubs as well. And I'm thinking of doing maybe a top 50 players that you should look out for next season, going through some underrated players that could burst onto the scene next year, and I'm thinking of putting it together in a PDF, and then if you want it you can pay something like £2 and get a real in-depth analysis of each individual player. And if that goes well, I may do some other items that you can buy as well to help support the channel. So give me some ideas in the comment section below.